Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about a basic portrait lighting kit but moving towards building a flash or off-camera flash photography kit. So let's get started. Okay, so what do we need? I feel like I'm being watched. This thing that's here. Anyone know what this is? I know, I jest. So in the previous video talking about a portrait photography kit, we discussed a basic kit to get started with. You have your camera and lens, okay, good to go. And some basic equipment, some DIY options to start to reflect, bounce light, control it with using natural light and available light. And that's all well and good. You can get some great work done with that. Eventually you may want to move into flash photography or off-camera flash or studio photography, for example, because that gives you more options and it lets you work at any time of day, recreate daylight, recreate the sun. A lot of creative options that come with moving into this kind of work or this kind of kit. But to keep it simple and to get going, other than the camera and lens, we need to invest in some gear. Yay, buy stuff. So we need a light, a way to fire the light and trigger it whilst it's off the camera. You can obviously mount the light on the camera and fire it that way, but anyway. And we need a way to reflect or modify the light. Now, if you look at any Instagram stream or YouTube channel or wherever it may be of any well-known photographers that are out there, you're going to see softboxes, beauty dishes, octoboxes, big softbox, small softbox, pop-up softbox, this whole new thing. You could even use a pencil and pen holder on top of your flash and diffuse the lights. Light sphere. Anyway, there are loads of different options that you can go to. But to start simple, to start relatively cheaply as well, we can keep it much simpler than that. And you can get a lot done still with the kit. So we'll need a light stand, which is what we see here. One light stand. Okay. This is an air cushion light stand. So if I, squeaky noise, be quiet. If I let that go, it will gradually drop. Who asked you? Worth the weight in gold. Okay. So if someone walks up and loosens this, it's not just suddenly going to crash down to the floor. Now, not a big issue with a speed light in, but if you've got something that has a flash tube, a bare bulb light, they don't really like being slammed down on light stands all that much. Just FYI. Now, this light stand in particular, you can remove the spigot section and mount it in the side holes, so handy. And we have on top of it a Pixar Pro smart bracket. I think it's the S2 bracket, which will hold a speed light. It will also hold the Pika 200s, otherwise known as the AD 200s, and other lights also as well. But the nice thing about this versus a traditional cold shoe umbrella swivel adapter is that you can mount softboxes, beauty dishes to it later. So as your kit grows, if you add modifiers, this along with your speed light can go with you, and you can still make use of it and make use of it in the new modifiers that you may add further down the line, which is great. They don't cost a whole lot and they're built really well, metal base, good solid plastic, and they can take the weight of heavy modifiers as well. Really good on these things. And it just clamps down the speed light there. Now, speed light wise, there's many on the market. You can get cheap ones for £20–30. Or, if I bring this in a bit closer, you can go for something which is part of the Godox range, or in this instance, this is the Pixar Pro one, which is a Leon lithium-ion based 580 speed light. So it doesn't use AA batteries, which that solution's fine. You can get rechargeables. It uses its own battery, which is there, and that will give you 600 full power pops on the charge. So kind of nice. These lights also have a built-in receiver, so the transmitters I use will trigger these lights and the studio strobes, as you'll probably see me fire those in a moment. So it works really well. Now speed lights, you'll find they're quite compact, small, you can fit them in small places, so if you need to light the inside of a car or a small room or cupboards, then these are great. Obviously you can't go fitting a studio strobe inside a car, it's kind of awkward. So these are really, really great. They have a Fresnel lens on the front, wide panel, etc. And you can flood or zoom spot the light like you would with a mag light torch. Okay, so you can flood it or zoom it. Really good. Again, many different brands out there. You can spend a lot for the camera branded ones, Nikon, Canon, etc. with TTL and so forth. This is a manual one. I do have TTL versions, but they're a lot less in terms of price compared to Canon ones. And the batteries last longer. So do the math there. So good stand, bracket, and a light. Now obviously you will need a trigger to fire that light. Is this switched on? Yes, it is switched on. So this trigger will fire, hang on, I'm not going to blind myself, I've done that before on video. Right, you face that way. It fires this light and the studio strobes as well. One ecosystem, one set of triggers. Now if you get a light which is say off-brand or a cheaper one, you can of course bring that into the mix with a receiver that has its own AA batteries, will go on to the end of the speed light, and then it's part of that ecosystem. So there's ways you can get that working. I prefer now lights with everything built in, so I don't have to bother with cables sticking out, with sync cables and cords that break a lot. So it's nice to have this all working as one. Now, you may be sat there wondering, okay, so I invest in a speed light, I get myself a stand, I get myself a bracket, I get a trigger either built into the light with a transmitter or with a receiver and a transmitter, however that goes. What do I do to modify the light? Well, you might be thinking, well, I'll go and buy the same softbox or the octabox that I can see in the background here, or Beauty Dish and Strip Box, or that octabox and softbox that I saw that guy on Instagram use last week. Slow down. You don't need that equipment yet. There's time to grow, time for that to come along, and of course when you buy it, it fits on these. Cool. What I recommend doing is going back to what we recommended in the original equipment video talking about available light and natural light is simple. Bounce cards, for one. You can fire this flash off this and make it from a small light source, or turn it from a small light source into a larger one, making it therefore softer relative to the size of the subject. You can, of course, use a 5-in-1 reflector to fire a light through the diffusion panel, bounce it off the silver, bounce it off the white. Again, remember, negative fill still. So you can use these. Great, nice and cheap. But the modifier that I recommend that you buy along with your stand, bracket, triggers and speed light is, you thought I was going to say then, which modifiers do I get multiples? No, you get one. Well, actually, no, you get multiples, but in one. Anyway, there we go. So we have what is a 60-inch convertible umbrella. Now I'm going to walk over here so we can see it. So this is a convertible umbrella. It can be a shoot-through once we take the black cover off. Okay, like so. It can be a reflective, so the light will fire in and back out. Shoot-through is softer because you can get it closer to your subject without impaling them with the umbrella shaft. And you can shoot this half closed down to mimic a softbox. I'll show how this is done in future videos, don't worry. You can shoot them half covered to keep light off the background. You can shoot them angled up, fully open and reflective to light a group. I've shot headshots with them. I've shot group shots with them at weddings and events. 20 people in a group with a speed light. You can get a lot done with this kit. Seriously, the Swiss Army knife of modifiers. I can zoom the head on my speed lights to spot the light and make it like a grid. Not 100% like a grid, but close enough. You can flood it to do a wide area. There's a load of things that you can do with this. Bounce it off a ceiling, bounce it off a wall, fire it through some bed sheets for diffusion material, fire it through a window. You can do a lot of things with this stuff. And as you go into off-camera flash, it opens up a world of creativity. Yep, there's stuff to learn, okay? And we'll get into that in future videos. But for a basic kit, getting going, this stuff's great. So don't get sucked in too much by what you see on Instagram. But oh, that dude has that big softbox. Oh, I must need, and it had that big light, that 600 something, and I need to go buy that. Not when you're starting out. Start here, because trust me, speedlights will stay with you. They will still be part of your kit as you grow, as you get studio lights, as you get more powerful lights, because these things are so good at fitting in small spaces, just adding a bit of light to a background, adding a bit of a kicker or a rim light to someone. Absolutely great. You can get a lot done with this kit. So these will stick with you and grow along with your kit. So hopefully this helps. Let me know if you've been thinking of building a lighting kit and what have you been looking at. Have you been thinking of going big guns all blazing, a 3-light kit with big octas and soft boxes? Or are you thinking I need to start a bit more simply, spend less money, learn and grow? Because this equipment, as you use it, will carry on and go with you. Okay, possibly not the umbrellas, because as soon as you sneeze or say wind, they're going over. But then they're like 20, 30 pounds. So disposable modifiers, not too bad. Anything else? I think that's it. So let me know what you've been thinking about picking up in the comments below. Any questions, any thoughts, comments, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Right. Beep. Oh, sorry, that was right at the camera. My bad. Oh, bad Rick.